Hey, Michael Kerr here. I want to talk about the importance of checking in with one another at work. Checking in with your colleagues, your teammates, your employees. Checking in even, yes, with your boss. In fact, that's probably a good career tip for you. Checking in with your boss to let them know you're still alive and you still work for the company is probably something you should do on a regular basis. At least, once a year. But also, why not check in with your boss just to see how they're doing as a human being, how their mental health is. Bosses get lonely. It's lonely at the top. It's stressful at the top. You will score a lot of points if you genuinely check in with your boss. But I want to suggest it is more important than ever to check in with one another right now with all the craziness going on in the world, all the stress, the roller coaster ride we've all been on and continue to be on. It becomes even more important to genuinely check in with one another just to see how each other is doing, how people are coping. A Deloitte study found, in fact, that the number one way employees say they gain a sense of belonging on their team, in their workplace, is simply when somebody checks in with them. And having a sense of belonging is so important. We know from so many studies that when people have a greater sense of belonging on their team and their workplace, they're happier, they're more productive, they're more engaged, they're less stressed out. And it becomes especially important when we're working in this hybrid situation, as many of you probably still are. If you've got employees working remotely or just employees that work in different departments or buildings than you or locations, you have to be extra intentional about checking in with those employees. And if you have teenagers at home, I want to remind you there's a fundamental difference between checking up on somebody and checking in on somebody. If it comes across as you checking up on somebody, if you come across like you're checking up to see if they're actually in the office, in their home office when they should be, that is going to erode trust so fast. So make sure it is a genuine attempt to really check in with one another to see how people are doing. And I want to suggest something that's really, really helpful, especially now, and especially if you are working in a hybrid work situation, is to create some communication guidelines. How do people want to be checked in with, communicated with? Do they prefer a Zoom? Do they prefer a phone call? Do they prefer interpretive dance? So what is their preferred means of communication, and how frequent do they feel they would like a check-in call? Now, if you're the boss, you may want to set a regular schedule yourself to make sure you're checking in once a week, once every 2 weeks, I would suggest. But beyond that, if you can actually schedule some time, because we know if we don't schedule it, we're not going to do it. So schedule some time to check in with your colleagues. And then when you check in with them, it's one thing, and that's definitely a great start, is just to check in with them and say, hey, Susan, hey, Barry, just checking in to see how you are doing. That is fabulous. But I like to come armed with some questions as well to help guide the conversation. So here's one of my favorite ones, is just simply, hey, what can I do to support you right now? What can I do during this crazy situation to support you? That's a really powerful question, and let it sit. Give it a little time for them to think about it, for them to ruminate on it. Now, we know, though, of course, that support means different things to different people, and people have a different level of support that they need. Some people might say, no, you know what, I got this, please just leave me alone. Other people want a little more support. So the follow-up question to that is to make sure you ask, what does support look like for you? Two really, really important questions. Another question that I'm a huge fan of is, hey, is there anything I should start doing or anything I should stop doing right now that would make your work life easier for you, that would help you during this crazy situation? Another great question is to ask, hey, I'm just curious, from your vantage point, from where you're sitting on the team in your company or in your part of the company, what do you see that I don't see? If you're a supervisor, if you're the boss, this is a really, really powerful, empowering question to ask your employees. Another great question is to just simply say, you get talking about work, but just use this phrase, this question, tell me more, and just let it sit. And if you ask that and you let it sit, the power of silence after asking this question is incredible. And I guarantee you, people will start to open up and tell you things. But it's important to ask this question. Just tell me more, just so they feel comfortable. So you create that psychological safe space for people to open up and share what they're feeling and what they're experiencing from where they are sitting. And then finally, make sure you follow up, follow through. Don't just leave it and say, okay, bye-bye, we'll see you at the barbecue in 6 months. Follow up, follow through, especially if there were questions raised or certain issues that came up that you feel you want to circle back to. Then schedule a date. As I'm saying, you should be consistently checking in with employees anyway, so perhaps it's already in the calendar, but specifically, make sure you do follow up on the conversation. Any points that require following up on, that is absolutely essential. So, if you haven't yet subscribed to my Inspiring Workplaces YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button. It's down there in the corner. Join our growing community as we talk about inspiring workplace cultures that rock.